Hey guys and dolls, Steve and Jeffrey Cumberdale here, and welcome to the very first sermon or preachification or whatever you want to call it. This is Pretend Church, and I'm the pastor, Steve and Jeffrey Cumberdale. I am not a real person. I am a cartoon character created by Nathan Hyatt, cartoonist, and he used me to create Pretend Church. And Pretend Church is an artistic project, and well, it's kind of complicated, but if you have a real church, there's certain stuff going on that you got to keep up with. And Nate tried to start a real church a long time ago in the middle of a psychotic break that he had, and it didn't go too well. So I'm a cartoon character he invented, and I'm well, I don't know if I'm psychotic, but I'm schizophrenic, and I can have a fictional church all I want to. So this is not a real church. This is an artistic project. And we just want to dig right into it. Welcome. There's no membership. You can't join Pretend Church. That would make about as much sense as joining a painting or joining a piece of music. This is art. This is art. So, if anybody tells you that they're with Pretend Church and they've got a membership drive, or they try to call Pretend Church a crazy cult or something, and they're like, oh, all those people who belong to Pretend Church, they believe this, they believe that. We don't believe anything, because this is just art. This is just, right now this is a podcast and a sermon, and let me tell you one thing. For example, when you have a real church, this is not a real church, this is a pretend church, hence the name Pretend Church. We're allowed to talk about abortion here, and we're allowed to talk about politics here, because this is art. And Roe v. Wade just got overturned by the piece of shit of the Supreme Court of the United States and their jacked up craziness, and that's not okay. That's some serious bullshit right there. So I don't know where we're going with all this, but if I were a pastor, you think you got religious freedom in the United States of America, you think you got free speech, everything's regulated by the IRS, and whenever Nathan, my creator, he gets some ideas and he has some struggles and he has a hard time and things get to be a little overwhelming, he just kind of channels all that into me, so I'm a cartoon character, so sue me. What are you gonna do, sue a Pretend Church, sue a cartoon character who doesn't even exist? It's just art. Don't take it too seriously. You hear something you don't like, just, leave. Go away. Get lost. Get out of here if you don't like it. So anyway, there's a lot of people getting away with a lot of stuff that's not okay. And it's not okay. Not okay to take away a woman's right to choose. And here at Pretend Church, we're gonna be talking over the course of the future weeks and months and years as an artistic project, not an actual church. So if we get any money for this, we'll pay our taxes, IRS. But anyway, I'm kind of ticked off right now because it's never okay to take away women's rights. I'm a fictional character, and I'm supposed to be around 27 years old. So, like, I don't know how that works out. I was created back in 1997, and I was already 27. But, the guy who created me, he remembers September 11th, 2001. And he remembers when democracy and freedom were attacked. And I don't think it's hyperbole, and I don't think it's overreaching at all to say that the Supreme Court of the United States of America on June 24th, 2022, a day that will live in infamy, the Supreme Court of the United States of America, with power in the hands of a very few at the behest of some evil people. This is about good versus evil. Pretend you're in church and pretend you're listening to a sermon about good versus evil, even though this is not a real church, just a pretend church. But think about evil. Evil takes away people's civil rights. And fascism does so too, So I hope during World War II, I hope back when the United States was at war with Nazi Germany, I hope that nobody minded preachers talking about how we had to end fascism. I hope nobody thought that was a preacher overstepping his bounds, and I especially hope, that people wouldn't think that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist pastor, of a church during the 1950s and 60s. I would hope nobody would think that he was overstepping his bounds and talking out of the corner of his mouth or something, being inappropriate. We have to follow all these rules and we can't upset anybody. Well, I'm here to get in good trouble. I'm here to get in good trouble, and I'm here to say that we're not going to let this just slide. Pretend church was in the works for a while. Nate wanted to do it, and it's an artistic project. Can't emphasize that enough. You could call this a pretend sermon if you wanted to. You could say this is a pretend opinion and that it's not anybody's actual opinion. So if you don't like it, it's not real. Works for a lot of people, doesn't it? They don't like something, then it's not real. But we can't let this slide. We can't let overturning Roe versus Wade slide. And yeah, I'm talking politics. And you prove I'm a church. Prove it. There's no membership. We don't meet anywhere. I mean, we could if we wanted to. I could put on an art show, because I'm an artist. Steve Cumberdale here. I'm an artist, and I'm a fictional character. I'm a cartoon character created by a real person who's an artist. And I'm his mouthpiece, so I could say whatever I want. And if you don't like it, just pretend you're reading it a book, put the book down. Try that on for size. But anyway, over the course of the coming weeks, months, years, I can talk about the Bible. I can talk about Taoist philosophy and Buddhism. I can talk about spiritual things. A lot of you will feel like you're in a support group meeting or something. Maybe really spiritual people anonymous or something. I don't know. But take action. Take action. Write somebody a letter. Don't just sit there and take it lying down. Get in a march. Dr. King organized some marches. What good are churches if they're not good for organizing people so that they can make a real change? They try to regulate churches with the IRS. Oh, you might lose your status as a non-profit. You're a non-profit. You're a for-profit. You're under this tax classification. They've been taking away our freedoms ever since before anybody landed on this continent in the United States of America, North America, before anybody landed here. For thousands of years, people have been squashing each other's rights. They've been threatening each other and fighting wars and going at each other's throats. And we're trying to stop all that. We're trying to do something about that. There's no membership in pretend church. You believe whatever you want. I don't care. Just pop in, listen, grab a soda, grab an adult beverage, fire up a cigarette or a non-tobacco cigarette, whatever you got. Don't care. Do whatever you want. Just keep your laws off of me. Okay? That's what people ought to be preaching from the pulpit. How many times have I heard pastors talking about how abortion is murder and we got to end abortion, but that's not political because they're not telling anybody to vote for somebody or not to vote for anybody. It's time in this country to quit taking it lying down. It's time to take action. It's time to do the right thing. Hey, I'm just a cartoon character, man. Don't listen to me. What are you going to do? Somebody gets up in your grill about what you're doing, just say, hey, a cartoon character told me to do it. I've lost touch with reality. I'm taking orders from a cartoon character. Take a stand. Take a stand for women's rights. Take a stand for civil rights. Take a stand for everybody's rights. You see somebody being anti-Semitic, stand up to that person. Do the right thing. Protect religious freedom. Protect liberty. If they're gonna protect guns, guns don't save lives, okay? They don't. All they're good for is oppressing people and killing people. But I don't know, I'm probably not even making any sense anymore. I don't know, I've just got a lot of passion right now. I'm gonna be working on some sermons. Going to be working on some messages. Right now, I'm kind of frustrated and upset. So, I hope you'll excuse me, but I wanted to do something with my energy and my anger because I'm so frustrated at the Supreme Court of the United States of America for taking away some people's rights unapologetically with a great big double middle finger to all of us. Just to make some people happy. Make some people happy because they got their way. Well, hey, this is a pretend church. So, in a pretend church, the pretend pastor is going to talk about beliefs, spiritual beliefs, maybe even religious beliefs. And right now I got a spiritual belief for you. I don't believe anybody ought to be able to take away my civil rights. And that's the most important spiritual belief I have. Bar none. I don't believe anybody ought to be able to touch your civil rights or anybody's civil rights. I believe in everybody's right to self-determination. Does that make me un-American? Well, I know I'm not a real person, and I know I'm not a real pastor, and I know this is not a real church. But these things are real. They're the real deal. And they are sacred, and they are closely held beliefs by a lot of people. Don't mess with those people. Okay? Don't mess with my friends. Don't mess with my mom. Don't mess with my sister. I don't have any kids. Don't mess with my personal decisions when it comes to that either, okay? I'm preaching now, man. I'm preaching now because you done pissed me off. Passing your illegal laws to restrict my freedoms and rights. Not gonna have it. This is not a real church. Not worried about losing my tax exempt status. Not an actual church. Totally not scared at all. Not scared one bit. There's no membership in Pretend Church? If we figure out how to sell t-shirts down the line, that'd be awesome. Maybe raise a little money that way. Cover some expenses, buy a little coffee, whatever. Probably won't be sitting back collecting millions and millions of dollars like some rich Rolls-Royce driving, Learjet riding, mansion having preacher who prays to God to help him find a parking space. So, next time, I probably won't be this upset. I'll probably have some spiritual things to say. They were spiritual, but you gotta recognize them and listen for them. Next time, maybe there'll be some soft music in the background, and maybe I'll even talk about God and the meaning of life. I don't know. Right now, I'm kind of cheesed off. So, pray, vote, do the right thing, help a little old lady across the street, give to charity. Not this one, this ain't a charity. This is art. Glad you could tune in, and not gonna go on forever and ever here, but this is Pretend Church. Been wanting to do this for a long time. Glad you could make it. Bye-bye. You are dismissed.